Hello, hello, beautiful pearls. I hope everyone had a great weekend and I hope you're having a good day. I had a very nice, lazy weekend, but it was really nice because I actually managed to get myself to do something that I have been delaying for so long and I have been procrastinating on that for so long. So, I actually went to the beach on Saturday evening and I walked on the sand. I wanted to connect to nature, and because I love the beach, this is where I like to do it. So, but I've been pushing that and I've been delaying it. I giving myself excuses left, right, and center. And this is what we do when we procrastinate. We give ourselves excuses and we keep on delaying things like I don't feel like doing this today, or, I can do it later. And I don't have the power, I don't have the energy. And, I'll think about it. And sometimes, like, maybe another time, or I don't have the time to do it right now. And most of the time, this is being, this is literally putting procrastination in action. Now, let me tell you a little story that happened to me. Actually, I used to procrastinate a lot. I mean, procrastinating going to the beach is something small, it's not something like a life-changing thing that I was procrastinating, but I used to procrastinate on big stuff. I used to procrastinate on calling clients, doing work, like real work that would bring literally bread to the table, you know? I used to procrastinate on the major stuff in my life. And the funny thing is I never knew that I was doing that. When I was doing it, I didn't know I was doing it. And funny enough, when I started working on myself and when I started my journey, I realized that I had so much in my mind. I had so many things that I wanted to do, and yet I never, ever finished any of them. And then I realized, oh my God, I am pushing things. I didn't even know the word then. And when I first heard the word procrastination, I was like, what does this word mean even? I didn't know what it meant. I had to look it up. And when I looked it up and I realized that, oh my God, this is me, or this was me. When I started realizing that this is what I was doing, and when I started my own journey of awakening and healing and going inside and understanding why I do the things that I do and why I am the way that I am and how I changed myself, I understood that at that time I was doing a lot of procrastination. I was coming up with so many amazing ideas. I wanted to, do my own program. And I'm talking about a TV show. I wanted to do my own podcast. I wanted to do my own healing program. I didn't know how, but I just wanted to do it. Now I'm actually doing it. But, I kept on having so many goals, so many different things that I wanted to do. And yet I never did a single one of them until I realized that this is what I was doing, that I was procrastinating. The minute I realized I was procrastinating, I decided that I want to learn how to stop doing that. I want to learn. First of all, I want to learn why. I wanted to learn why I was doing it, like why I was procrastinating. So the many reasons that came to my mind, those that stood out really were me putting really big goals for myself. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be putting big goals for ourselves. What I'm saying is we should understand and we should know how to prioritize our goals. We should understand what is the goal that we want to reach and work on that first. And then once we get there, we have other goals that we can tackle, so instead of just going full on into like 100 things, understand what our priority is and focus on that and start from that. So this is like one of this, at least for me, this was one of the major things, because this is what I was doing. I was having like goals left, right, and center, and huge goals, so many things that if you sit and focus on them, maybe you'll be able to do them. But they were like really, really big goals that became in my mind so scary. So there was the fear also of, what if I cannot do it? What if I don't succeed? What if I fail? What if nobody likes it? What if nobody watches it? So you start putting those what ifs that will make you feel so anxious about actually doing what you really, really wanted to do. And then you start procrastinating and you start delaying and you start becoming like, you look at it and you go like, okay, I'll go somewhere else. And then you start bringing in new stuff, new projects to your plate that also become so big in your mind, that also become like this how do I say it, like this ghost, or like this I want to find the word, like this monster, that's the word, that this monster that is waiting for you there, and you're never gonna be able to reach, and you never, because this monster is there and it's gonna attack, you never know when, right? So you make things so big in your head that you start worrying and you start becoming anxious and afraid, and you delay, right? And there's also another thing that I realized I was doing as well. It's like I wanted to see results on the spot. And because I wanted to see results on the spot, I was delaying everything, because there's no way for me to have a result on the spot of me doing, for example, my own podcast and wanting to have, let's say, like, I don't know, 100,000 downloads. Like, this is not going to happen overnight. This needs work and it needs time. So I prioritized my comfort feeling of knowing that, now I'm happy. Why would I want to put myself under so much pressure to do something like that? So I keep it for, maybe I'll do it later. Or maybe, when the time is right. I like that, when the time is right, was we use it a lot. I'll do this when the time is right. The time is right now. Now is when you need to do things. Because if you don't do anything now, the past has already passed and the future is not even here yet. So when are you going to do things? Now is the time for you to do. And for you to be able to do, and today this is what I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share with you some tips that will get you out of that procrastination state that we put ourselves in. And we keep on pushing and we keep on delaying, because most of us don't know how not to delay. And there are things that are very logical. There are things that very logical, and we don't do them often. Like, for example, managing our time properly. Especially if we come and we think that we have so much to do and we want to do a lot. We choose to do a lot, and then we end up doing nothing, right? A lot of the reasons why we do that also, I mean, and why we procrastinate, many reasons are also related to lack of motivation. So if we don't feel motivated enough, we don't do things. And if we comparison, is always like one of the biggest issues, I think, of humanity in general is comparison, because we keep on comparing ourselves to others, our work to other people's work, our beauty to like the models that we see out there, you know, our lifestyle to other people's lifestyle. And when we do that, we're only putting ourselves in a place where we would rather not be. Why would I want to compare myself to anyone? I am who I am, and I am proud of who I am. And I have everything. I was created in this world. I came to this world with all the abundance that exists in the world. And then all those things that we have conditioned in us, in our body, in our brain, that we have learned throughout our lives, made us forget that we are abundant. We have everything that we want, that we need, that we desire. We just don't know it anymore because of all the conditioning that we've been through. So I choose not to compare myself to anyone or anything. And I choose to be me. I choose to be my own self, my own person. And by doing that, I'm already halfway through. By just thinking of being myself and loving myself and appreciating what I have to give to the world and what I have to offer, I'm already halfway there. Now, we also have an issue with time management. A lot of people like don't know how to manage their time, and a lot of people don't know how to prioritize. This is one of the things that I'm actually also teaching in my program, is how to prioritize your thoughts, how to prioritize your ideas, your time, how your schedule, basically how to prioritize your relationships, your space. All of this falls into one place, and if you don't do all of this, this is where you start to tend to procrastinate and to push things to later, and later never comes. That's the problem, is that unless it's something related to work and then you have to submit it, then you put yourself under pressure and you just do everything the last minute. And when you do everything the last minute, the result is not going to be up to your standard. Then because of the result is not up to your standard, the next time you're going to have something to do, you're going to say, oh my God, last time it was really bad, so I don't want to do it. And then you procrastinate again. You see the pattern? So this is how it happens. And then it becomes a habit. It becomes something that we do all the time. I mean, I used to have it. I used to do it all the time. And I still do it, but I do it for the things that really, really have minor effects in my life. Which means that if I don't do this today, it's okay. And if I don't do it ever, even, it's fine. But I stopped procrastinating on the things that matter, on the things that will have a great impact on my life, will have a huge impact on my life. So now, if we stop procrastinating, that will mean that we are more focused. That will mean that we are achieving more, because we're not procrastinating anymore. We're not pushing anything for later. We're doing things when they need to be done and as they need to be done. And when we are focused on that, the results will be even better, instead of us lingering and pushing and then just doing things the last minute and getting to a place where our results become really, really bad. We start putting priorities to things and we start working on the things that matter first. And we give those things, we give them the time that they need in order to focus and in order to get the good results that we know we can get. Most of the time, we know, I mean, every one of us, every single one of us knows their stuff. We know our stuff. I know I know what I can give, and I know that I can give it. So do you. Whatever that is in your work, in your personal life, with your family, with your friends, in your relationship, with your partner, you know what you can deliver, you know what you can give, and you know how much worth you have. And we are all worthy. We are all abundant. We all have a lot to give. Just knowing how much we have and starting from there will also help us to stop procrastinating. So it's all interconnected. Having fear of the results is connected to pushing things for later, is connected to wanting to feel good now and not worry about the results. So we keep on pushing and wanting to have results straight away also. Like everything is all connected. It's all connected and it all falls in the same place, which is us procrastinating and us pushing things for later. Now, having said that, and because I wanted to tell you how I did it, I want to tell you what resonated with me and what worked for me. And this is where where I can help. Those tips that I'm going to give you today, those 5 major tips that when I worked with them, I stopped procrastinating, especially on the big tasks, especially on the things that are important. So, having said that, let me tell you like the first one that's very, very important for me. I start mainly by prioritizing, right? So I start by deciding where I want to be. Like in my to-do list, let's say in my tasks, I start by putting the major ones, the most important ones on the top of my list. And just by doing this exercise at the very beginning, we start by prioritizing. We put the most important goal, I'm going to call it, at the top of the list. And we focus on that goal only in that period of time. And then we move to the next one once that goal is achieved. Now, if there are goals that work in parallel, what we want to do is we want to limit as much as possible how many tasks we can do per goal, per day, let's say. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I want to record this live, right? If I want to go live and record this and talk to you today. And I have so many things running at the same time and I'm not ready. And now I'm becoming so anxious. Oh my God, I will not have the time and I will come to this live and I will not be ready. And oh my God. And then I come to the live and it's a mess. Instead of doing that, I split my goal into smaller tasks and I start doing the small tasks, like preparing the notes, okay? Putting them on small stickers, having them around me where I can remember what I want to talk about, and getting ready and drinking lots of water, hydrate because I need to do that so that I can speak. The small things that we worry about, we just put them in small tasks and we do them one after the other, step by step. So now when you have such a big goal and something like really big that you want to do, instead of making it so big and so unreachable in your head, split it, make it smaller and go through it step by step until you reach that goal. Another very important thing that you should that I found that worked for me, and I found it's really important, is to prioritize that goal specifically. So put a, like, this is something that I must do. This is like the one big thing that I have to do today. And focus on that. That one big thing that you have to do today. Then you have the things that you have to do no matter what in your day. Like, for example, I don't know, meditate in the morning. Or like for me, walking the dog. I mean, this is something I cannot not do. I have to do it. So it's in my priorities, and it's there, that it's a task that I must do during the day. Answer some of my work emails, right? So these are tasks that I have to do. So now we have the one very big thing. And we have those tasks that we cannot get out of, that have to be done on daily basis. And then you have anything else that you might need to do on any given day. Putting those in priority, the tasks that, for example, you have to do every day, usually are scheduled. And if they are not, then you need to schedule them. Like, for example, for me, I do my meditation every morning. I do my self-care in the evening. I walk my dog 3 times a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and once in the evening. And usually it's at a very specific time. I even eat on time. I drink my water whenever I I feel dehydrated. But you know, the things that you have to do, schedule them into your day. I find structure very helpful and very important when people procrastinate. If you put a structure to your life, to your everyday, including your weekend, by the way, believe me, your procrastination level will drop from here to here, like literally almost no procrastination whatsoever. And if you procrastinate, you will be procrastinating on things that are really, really, really very small in importance and value. So now we've talked about having that one big thing, right? And putting that one big thing on the top of your list. And even that one big thing, working on it step by step. If it is something that is going to make you worry, or if you are already thinking that, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to do it. So just split it into smaller chunks, I call them. So the smaller the chunk, the easier and the faster the task can be done. No matter how big that goal and no matter how big that task is. Split it and you will see it will become something. And then practice makes perfect. Don't think that if you are a procrastinator and you keep on doing it, don't think that this is gonna shift straight away. You're gonna practice. You're gonna practice doing this, okay? So when you focus on that big thing and you do that, there's a writer, his name is Raymond Chandler. So Raymond Chandler said, if you procrastinate as a writer, and I find it very interesting because it's so true as procrastinating on anything, not just being a writer. So if you procrastinate on anything, he did something that is very interesting. So the minute he would delay something like writing, he decided that either he writes or he doesn't do anything at all. So I do my task or I don't do anything. So basically, no internet, no Facebook, no Instagram, no chatting, no calling people, just sitting there and doing nothing. After some time, and I tried it, it's really amazing. After some time, you get bored. So it's either doing nothing or doing that one thing that is very important, that one big thing. So by the time, when the minute you get bored, you start doing that one thing that is very important for you. So this is another method to get out of procrastination. And I really like this method because it works like magic. It works like magic. Like if you don't have anything else to do, you get bored. So you want to do something and you do that very important thing. But again, it needs practice. Another thing that I find very important when we procrastinate and we actually take the decision to start doing something. The environment that we are in is very important, very important. We tend to push things for later when we are distracted as well. So this environment that we put ourselves in is very important to be an environment that doesn't distract us. And that's why when we are focused on doing something, so focus is very important. To focus on doing something, you stop, for example, get out, like be offline, like literally offline. If you are working on a presentation, let's say, okay, or if this is the task of the day, you want to prepare a presentation, switch off the internet. Obviously you have everything ready, right? If you don't have anything ready, then you need to start that smaller tasks, right? Maybe sometimes it's getting onto the internet and doing a little bit of research, downloading some information, downloading some images that we're going to use in our presentation, for example, right? So smaller tasks. Once those smaller tasks are done, and now you want to do the big goal, which is the whole presentation, go completely offline, ghost. You're not there. You are with yourself, with that task at hand, and you are completely focused. No internet, no Facebook, no Instagram, no phone calls, nothing to distract you. When you have that environment and you are focused on that task, you will not procrastinate. You will do it because it's already almost like the whole space is ready for you to finish that. And that helps a lot. It helps me along with that. If I either do this or I do nothing, the I do this becomes very appealing and very interesting because it keeps me busy instead of getting bored because I have nothing else to do. So adjust your environment to give you the right space of mind and environment to do the task that you have to do. So that's another way of stopping or fixing procrastination, if you want to call it. And then there's another thing that's also very important. Instead of like I did, I had so many ideas. I had so many things that I wanted to do. And by the way, I ended up doing none of them at that time. There's now one thing that I'm doing and I'm focusing on that one thing. And I'm finishing that. Once that is over, I will move to the next one. So having said that, the one thing that is also very important to do that will help you stop procrastinating is limiting the number of decisions that you have to make. Like, I'll give you an example. For example, today I know, let's say, I know today I have to do the live, right? So instead of waiting until the last minute for the live to be done, I will choose the day before what are the things that I want to talk about. And this is why every live I do, you receive the notification about this live the day before, because I already know what this life is going to be about. I already know what I'm going to talk about. I already know what teachings I have or what learnings I want to share with you. Because these are not teachings, these are things that I have learned and I'm sharing them with you. Okay, so being ready ahead of time will stop you from procrastinating. I'll give you another example. Like when you wake up in the morning, instead of wasting your time in the morning thinking, oh my God, what am I going to wear today? And, how am I going to get to work? Let's say if you don't have a car, schedule everything ahead of time. Decide what you're going to wear the night before and have it ready. Book your taxi. If you don't have a car, book your taxi the night before at a very specific time, so you know that you are ready at this very specific time. Those decisions those decisions are very simple decisions, but we also procrastinate on them. And when you start your day by procrastinating, guess what? That's going to be the whole day. That's going to be the trend of the whole day if this is how you start your day. This is why starting your day with a high energy will set you in that high energy throughout the whole day. And what do we get when we complete a task? When we set our mind to something and we do it and we complete it, what happens? We are full of joy, we are full of happiness, we are full of like, yes, I did it. Yes. So this energy, this high energy doesn't come from procrastination. This high energy actually becomes from completion, from achievement, from knowing that you did something and you did it right. Even if you didn't do it right the first time, even if you didn't do it, and this is another way why people procrastinate. They want things to be perfect. Perfectionism equals procrastination. Because we are always evolving. There's nothing that is going to be perfect in our life. We are always evolving. And whatever is perfect for me might not sound or look or seem perfect to someone else. If I'm going to keep on thinking this way, I will never do anything in my life. Nothing. We do the best that we can with the things that we have at hand, and we keep progressing. We keep making things better as we move. We grow, we make them better, but we cannot be perfect. And perfectionism is literally another, in my own opinion, it's another synonym of procrastination. So get out of that mindset of, I want things to be perfect. And I'm not going to present this, or I'm not going to do this live unless it is perfect. This means that I cannot be myself if I'm going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. If I go on a live and, not sometimes think of the words that I want to say, which would be perfect if I don't have to think about anything and just go and, say everything without thinking, without having any flashbacks, or without stuttering sometimes a bit, and posing a bit because I want to think of what I want to say next and being perfect. I will never go on a live. I will never be able to do a live session with anyone. As a matter of fact, I will never be able to sit in front of anyone and talk if I want to be perfect, because such a thing does not exist. We want to be the best that we can with what we have. So another way is getting out of wanting to be perfect. It doesn't happen. So let's go back to those 5 things that I was talking about. chunking, you know, those big tasks that we come and we think, oh my God, I'm gonna not be able to do this. It's gonna be difficult. It's so big. It's such a big task for me to do. Make it smaller, split it, and start with the small tasks. Step by step, you will get to the bigger one, and it will become very easy for you to do it. Number 2, focus on one big thing at a time. Prioritize, put that one big thing at a time. And time management says very simply, like what I do is I set a timer, or not necessarily a timer. I just look at the watch. Okay, for example, at the time, let's say now it's 7. Okay, I say from 7 to 10, I'm not going to do anything except focus on this task at hand. I'm switching off my phone. I put it on do not disturb. I switch off my notifications. Well, there's my dog, so I make sure that this time that I'm going to specify does not coincide, for example, with the time that I need to take the dog for a walk, so that I don't break that pattern of focus on one task and one task only. And then once it's finished, then I can move to the next one. If it's too big and it cannot finish in one day, this is where the chunking helps, right? So I kind of put few chunks together, finish them, and then the next day I finish some more chunks. At the end, I will have the end result in one go. Okay? So time management, very key. And time management is also very much related to how you prepare yourself ahead of time for your tasks, especially the ones that are simple to do, but if they are not done, if we procrastinate on them, they set the mood for the rest of our time during that period, that day, let's say, or that week, or that night, or whatever. So making those decisions prior to the time when we really have to act, like, for example, deciding what to wear ahead of time, like the night before, or deciding, like I said, if you want to use your car or use your, like for me, use your bike. Am I going by car or by bike? And this will dictate actually what I'm going to be wearing as well, you know? And what time do I have to be there, which means this is the time when I have to leave home. All of these things, instead of doing them on the morning of your day, when your day is starting, you do them the night before, just before you go to bed. And then you go to bed relaxed, you wake up the next day, you don't put anything to later. Now, having said that, again, finish everything, like finish your day before it starts, which means plan your day ahead of time, right? Don't take so many don't put so many decisions on the table for you to choose from. Prioritize, be selective, keep those smaller decisions for later. Know that if you want to do them, they are on this level in the list, and the most important ones are there, and focus on those. Now, what's the result of doing all of this? If we procrastinate, basically, we keep on pushing things to later, we find ourselves in a place where we feel like we're not doing anything, or we're worthless. Like, what am I doing? Why am I here? Like, there's nothing that's working for me. This is the thing that happens in your mind when you are procrastinating and you are pushing to do the things that will actually enrich your life and that will actually elevate your energy. and you keep on pushing them. So your energy drops. You feel like there's no reason for you to be happy or to be here, or like, what am I doing here? A lot of the time, when we get to that situation, it's because we are procrastinating on the things that we want to do in our life and that will bring us enjoyment and harmony and joy. The things that we do, remember, I always say we are the boss, we are the decision makers in our lives. Even if we are working at a corporate job, we decided to go into that field right at the very beginning. It was our decision. Nobody forced us. We decided to go there. And accordingly, we decide to move forward. Whether we want to move forward, we decide to move forward. If we want to go back, we decide that. Even when we are procrastinating, we're deciding. I mean, I didn't know I was doing it, and I didn't know that was procrastination, but it was by decision. I knew that I wanted to do this project, and then I came up with another project, and I came up with another project. I knew what I was doing. But what I didn't realize is that I was putting so many decisions on my table, and I ended up not picking any one of them. When I went through my journey and I did my own inner healing and I removed my limiting beliefs, because a lot of time we procrastinate because we have a limiting belief of being afraid of what people will say, like fear of judgment, fear of not thinking, or fear of thinking that we are not worthy or we are not good enough, that what I have to share, for example, that nobody will listen. Who's going to listen to me? That fear is also another reason why we keep on putting things for later. So when I worked on those, and believe me, we all have those fears, because these are things that come from the environment, they come from our ancestors. They've been, like, our mind has been and our body has been preconditioned with these fears for so many years, that when we start working on ourselves and wake up, we go like, my God. And I don't look at it as a waste of time, that when we start realizing that, okay, oh, I can do even better, I can do even more, I can share from my wisdom, I can share from my knowledge, and I can become a better person by working on myself. That time that has passed is not a wasted time. It's my learning journey. It's my school. My life is my school, not the school that I went to when I was a kid, because God knows what we learned at school is not really what life is all about. Right? I mean, this is a side talk, but it just came through that getting to the point where we realize that we awake and we see that, oh my God, why am I not doing this? Why am I pushing this to later? Is it because I'm afraid? Is it because I'm worried that people will judge me? Is it because I think it's not going to work? Like I'm not good enough to do something like that? And these are some of the main reasons why we keep on delaying things, or we decide not to do things in our lives, not just delaying them. A lot of times we decide to stop doing things altogether just because we are afraid. Sometimes people don't know, they could be going through a depression as well. So this, like, procrastinating is something that should set an alarm for you. If you do it a lot, maybe you are going through a depression as well. So be mindful, be like attentive to any of the symptoms of procrastination, because they could be showing you a bigger problem. They could be showing you something that you really need to work on in your life. So today, this is what I wanted to share with you. Those 5 things that actually worked for me. And there are so many other things that I'm also teaching in or I don't like to use the word teaching. So I am sharing my learnings in my program. I'm sharing my learnings that I have been learning throughout the past few years in my program that are there are so many more things that I will be sharing about procrastination and how to get out of procrastination and how to stop doing the same things over and over again, because that's also what happens when we procrastinate. This is how we think. The same thoughts come to our mind, and this is why we keep on pushing things, because we think that it's not going to work, or we think that I'm not going to get the result now, so I'm not going to do it. Right? So these are repetitive things that we are doing in our lives. These are things that I also learned a lot, and I want to share this learning with you in my program. And if you are really someone who wants to work on this and who wants to better yourself and better your use of your time, or even understand what your limiting beliefs are and what your limiting conditions are, because we've been conditioned to be who we are today, just reach out to me and let's have a talk, and we will see. Maybe working together is the right fit for you. So if it's the right fit for you, then we can start working together with my program. Having said that, I'm gonna leave you for tonight, and I hope you had uh, some information from me, some valuable information from me today. If you want more information, like I said, just reach out to me, message me, and I'm more than happy to take it further. And with that, I'm going to bid you good night. If you are watching here from Dubai, if you are watching from any other part of the world, have a great day, good evening, good night, sweet dreams, and God bless. Ciao, ciao.